Look in your kitchen. There is a small container of salt sitting near your stove. It cost you almost nothing. You barely think about it. But there was a time when that same white powder could buy you a house. It could buy you a soldier's loyalty. It could start a war. Why would anyone pay a fortune for something you now throw away without a second thought? The answer starts with a problem every human on Earth used to face. Food rotted. Meat spoiled within days. Fish turned foul within hours. And there were no refrigerators, no freezers, no plastic containers to slow any of it down. For most of human history, the biggest danger was not a wild animal or an enemy tribe. It was time. Food had a countdown on it, and once that countdown hit 0, people starved. Then someone discovered something strange. If you packed meat or fish in salt, it did not rot. The salt pulled the moisture out, and without moisture, the bacteria that caused decay could not survive. Meat that would spoil in 3 days could now last for months. That single discovery changed how humans survived winter, traveled long distances, and fed armies. Salt was not a seasoning. Salt was survival technology. Think about what that means. Whoever controlled salt controlled whether your food survived the season. Whoever controlled salt controlled whether an army could march for weeks without starving. Whoever controlled salt controlled whether a fishing village could sell its catch before it rotted uselessly on the shore. That kind of power does not stay ignored for long. Ancient civilizations noticed quickly. In China, salt production became a resource the state wanted to manage directly. Many historians believe early Chinese rulers taxed salt heavily because a substance everyone needed was also a substance everyone would pay for, no matter the price. A government that controls something people cannot live without effectively controls the population. In ancient Rome, salt mattered enough that it worked its way into the language itself. Soldiers were sometimes paid an allowance connected to salt, and many historians trace the origin of the word salary back to this connection. Whether or not every Roman soldier was paid directly in salt is still debated among historians, but the deeper truth remains. Salt was valuable enough to be treated like money. Picture a Roman soldier standing at the edge of the empire's border. He is not thinking about coins. He is thinking about whether his rations will last the winter. Salt decided that. A soldier whose meat was properly salted could survive a long campaign. A soldier whose meat rotted could not fight at all. Now picture the opposite side of that story. A region without reliable salt access was vulnerable in a way that had nothing to do with weapons. No salt meant no way to preserve food through winter. No way to preserve food meant starvation was only one bad harvest away. Entire settlements depended on trade routes just to get access to it. This is where salt roads come in. Ancient trade routes formed specifically to move salt from where it was produced to where it was desperately needed. Caravans crossed deserts. Ships crossed seas. Entire economies formed around a mineral that today sits in a cardboard container next to your stove. In parts of West Africa, salt was so valuable that it was reportedly traded pound for pound with gold at certain points in history. Picture that for a second. Not gold being slightly more valuable. Not gold winning by a small margin. An equal trade. A pile of salt worth the same as a pile of gold, weighed on the same scale. Why would that ever make sense? Because gold could not feed you. Gold could not preserve your meat through winter. Gold could not stop your food supply from rotting while your children went hungry. Salt could do all of that. In a moment of true survival need, usefulness beats shine every time. That sounds simple. It was not, because salt was not evenly distributed across the earth. Some regions sat near salt flats or coastal salt pans, where it could be harvested constantly. Other regions had no natural source at all. That imbalance created something powerful: leverage. A kingdom or a trading city sitting on a major salt source did not just have a resource. It had control over neighboring regions who could not survive comfortably without it. Historians studying ancient trade patterns have pointed to salt as one of the earliest examples of a strategic resource, something so essential that access to it shaped alliances, rivalries, and the growth of entire trade networks. Then everything changed, slowly, the way most major shifts in human history tend to happen. As trade expanded and preservation methods diversified, salt gradually lost its position as an irreplaceable survival good. New farming methods improved food security. Expanded trade networks meant fewer regions were fully dependent on a single source. Salt was still valuable, but it was no longer a matter of life and death for most people the way it once was. And this is where the story gets darker, because the instinct behind hoarding salt never disappeared. It simply moved on to other things. Look at how modern humans behave around anything they believe is scarce and essential. Bottled water disappearing from shelves before a storm. People panic buying fuel during a shortage. Entire markets shifting overnight around anything perceived as suddenly limited. That reaction is not new. That is not a modern personality flaw. That is an ancient survival instinct still running in the background of a species that once organized entire trade empires around a single mineral. You are not so different from the ancient trader crossing a desert with sacks of salt strapped to his cart. You still respond to scarcity the same way your ancestors did. You still place value on what feels essential in the moment, not necessarily on what has permanent value. Gold sits in vaults today, mostly because we agree it should. Salt once ruled economies, because ignoring it meant starving. Now think about your own kitchen shelf again. That small container costs you less than a cup of coffee. It sits quietly, unremarkable, easy to ignore. But if you traveled back far enough, that same substance could have been the reason a soldier survived winter, the reason a trade route existed, the reason a kingdom grew powerful, or the reason an empire could feed its army long enough to keep expanding. The next time you reach for that small container, remember what it once was. Not a seasoning, a currency, not a background ingredient. A form of power so strong that entire civilizations built roads, taxes, and armies around protecting it. Value has never really been about what shines the brightest. It has always been about what keeps people alive when everything else runs out. And for a long stretch of human history, that thing sat quietly on the dinner table, exactly where it still sits today.